Welcome or welcome back to my channel. This video, I am going to basically send a message to my younger self, or send a message to you what I wish I knew about making money online, having your own business, and doing it from a place that's not frustrating, because it took me a while to get here. So this is what I wish I knew 5 to 7 years ago, before I started my business, before I spent all of those nights crying. And this isn't to say that you won't cry, but this is to say that there is an easier way if you're looking to transition into creating your own income for yourself. Just know that it is possible. I'm going to talk about how to make it a lot easier on yourself. If you are just now discovering my channel, my background is mainly in career coaching. I've met with hundreds of people to help them transition into other industries, or to transition outside of the 9 to 5 corporate workforce. In the future, what is going to be required is that instead of trying to fit these particular positions within a corporate or a 9 to 5 role, people are going to have to look within and identify the skills that they have and how they can utilize that to bring in income for themselves. We are in a new era, but some of the same rules apply. The things that made you successful working in corporate or working in a 9 to 5 could be things that make you successful. However, the thing is, the things that made you, butt heads with your teammates, the things that made you feel uncomfortable working a 9 to 5 job, or that currently make you feel uncomfortable working a 9 to 5, could be the things that could help you succeed in working for yourself and making money. And that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. For instance, if you are someone who has a lot of sensitivity, you're just, the way you navigated work, you just felt overwhelmed, so you kind of just kept to yourself. Maybe you are someone who's highly sensitive. That is discernment. That is someone who is going to be able to identify things that other people don't see, identify patterns, be strategic. Someone who is seen as being all over the place, they are the people who are multi-passionate. They are the people who are able to have a lot of different creative ideas. These people are meant to make money on your own. And oftentimes, these people have had a rough experience in life, and that has given them I'm speaking from experience as well, but that's given them that unique perspective and that unique approach to things. Then there are the overthinkers, the people that are able to think about a lot of ideas, share a lot of ideas. That is really valuable in being able to make money online, because you have to be able to be flexible and identify what other creative ways can I utilize to do this new thing or try that other thing. People who felt like they didn't fit in the workplace, like I felt like this all the time. I worked in higher ed, I worked as a recruiter, I worked in corporate, in a creative corporate role, and I just always felt like I didn't fit in. And I recognize that in a lot of my clients, that when they didn't feel like they fit in, these people are the people that are able to create a brand for themselves. These people are the people with a distinct perspective. They're able to have a really memorable brand. They're able to offer just such creative ideas because they think outside of the box, because they don't think like the people who are really comfortable in corporate roles. I know that I spent a lot of time struggling with how to make money online, even though I've been a career coach at this point for 10, 11 years, and I started out my business helping people with resumes and helping people identify the skills that they had that were best fit for something that paid more. And through those conversations, I would talk people through what they were good at, and I recognized when they smiled and when they didn't. I recognized the things that they were excited about, and then the things that they weren't. A lot of the times, the people that were the ones that felt really uncomfortable in corporate, but they were still successful, they had such discomfort. Like they were just pushing through. They were the types of people who were making a lot of money in like forensic accounting, or like they were working in tech, but they were just miserable. And they were miserable because they're forcing themselves into a position that they genuinely just don't belong in, because they have other things, that they have other gifts, they have other talent, they have other skills that they're not using, that they're suffocating essentially. And I feel the same way. I worked in education, I worked as a career coach, but then I also worked in user experience design. I worked in that capacity, and I enjoyed the creative aspect. I enjoyed being able to write in my work and make a good amount of money, but I still felt like there's just so much more that I could be doing. And that's why I decided to start my own business, because I wanted to be able to offer a different perspective to making money, because it's the same skills apply. Just like the same skills are going to apply for you to be able to make money outside of the workforce, the same skills apply to me in being able to make money outside of how I have been making money for most of my career. Making money outside of a 9-to-5 will challenge everything that you know about yourself. It will challenge you so deeply, because it really gets to the root of what are your insecurities and what do you think of yourself. And I know it sounds scary, because I think everyone that has had to make money outside of a 9-to-5 or inside of a 9-to-5, it's made you look at yourself in a new way, and that discomfort can oftentimes be what the limitation is, because perhaps you are calling yourself self-aware when you're just being critical of yourself. So when it comes to being able to take that step from you're working for someone to you're working for yourself, first you have to be really clear about what it is that you're good at. And this is something that I have seen time and time again, which is why I know that my experiences for 10 years talking with hundreds of people about what it is they do and why they're good at it, after having so many conversations, I recognize that is what's going to make you really good at that. That is what's going to make you really good at making money on your own. And here are a few things to help you to kind of get past that. So if you are stuck at that place where you're like, okay, what do I do now to make money on my own? You have to give a decent amount of time to be able to think about what you offer. And here are a couple questions that I like to start out with, which I sometimes ask myself from time to time. And one of those questions includes, what do people compliment you on? I know, simple. But what is it that people compliment you on? What do people ask you about? And what would you feel comfortable talking about over and over again? If you're someone who's a multi-passionate, maybe these are a lot of things. Jot those things down. What a lot of people tend to do, before they even start to look at themselves, they start to look outside of themselves and start to say things like, oh, the market is oversaturated, but you don't even know what you could be doing in that market. The market is not oversaturated. There's actually enough for everyone. There's enough for everyone, because we think only the corporations get money for things, but people pay for things every single day. People pay for services. People need information. People need access. People need resolutions to things, and you have resolutions. If you are able to look at yourself in a clear way to say, oh, actually I am able to solve this problem, and I have been able to solve this problem for a lot of different people, or this is something that I have tried, I've mastered, and I am excited to talk about it over and over again, because there's a number of ways to make money, whether through someone is paying you to learn something from you, someone is paying you to resolve something for them, someone is paying you to learn about how you are, because ultimately the closer you get to making money just because of who you are or because of what you do, then it becomes a lot easier to make money, because you're not having to force yourself like when you work in corporate to fit into a particular box. Once you're able to really identify what it is that you're good at, and I have a skills workshop in the Digital Income Club. If you are interested in actually working through what your skills are and how to start selling them online, then join the Digital Income Club. That's where we have workshops, we have Q&A sessions, and the community is there to offer feedback on ideas, on content, on visibility, and just to provide that accountability. So if that is something that you're looking for, you could join that. Read information about it in the description below. When it comes to reflection, when it comes to reflecting on your skills, this is something that you're constantly going to have to do. So you have to practice doing it in a way that is honest and authentic. Being successful requires you to be honest about what you're good at and to emphasize what you're good at. How is it productive to be critical of your weaknesses, to be critical of those things, rather than to focus on the things that you're good at? If you're focused enough on the things that you're good at, then you start to see how they could be helpful to people, and then you start to speak about yourself and think about yourself in a way that is positive. And once you start to think about yourself in a way that is positive, then other people will hear it and they will say, actually, I need help with that. You start speaking about it online. right? This is low visibility. Just, hey, I do this thing, I offer this thing, I'm excited to talk about this thing. Like for me, I'm like, oh, you can make, I've started making money online by just reviewing resumes, writing resumes, offering people advice and motivation and support. The same thing I've been doing. And for many years, I felt like, well, there's so many career coaches online, but this is such a valuable skill. The skill of being able to clearly identify your actual skills, what you're actually good at, and finding that crossover between what you're good at and what you enjoy and you're excited to talk about, what other people are excited to ask you about. That is the direction. And when it comes to doing it in a way that is easeful, that is not, you're not constantly stressed about how to do it, that's where the planning comes, and the constant pushing through the discomfort of, well, what if this doesn't work, or what if this, we're not going to focus on that. The not failing part comes from being honest and constantly pushing through that discomfort, because once you have identified, I'm good at this and this is what people ask me about, you're going to start talking about it. And I have guides on how to create content around, how to create your brand pillars around what you're good at and who you are. And then you can go from there. It's really repeatable. You just continue talking about it, and through talking about it, through people asking about it, through you being able to solve problems, then you have that validation of, oh, I'm actually good at this. Oh, people want to pay money for this. And then you build from there. You build from there. I became really, really good at resumes in my early 20s, early in my career. And still, when I wanted to transition into doing it on my own or doing it for remote work, it felt like something was missing, like I needed to learn more. But I already got my certification. I've already written hundreds of resumes and gotten great feedback. What more was I looking for? I help people double their salaries, triple their salaries, identify what they enjoy. And that brings me a lot of joy.